Hello, and welcome to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Each week, they bring you conversations with local Christian businesses and business owners. The Experience Local is brought to you each week by wonderful sponsors.
Copper Rock Real Estate. Commercial and residential real estate in the Mid-Willamette Valley. CopperRockRealty.com. Independent Merchant Brokers. Low-cost and no-cost debit and credit card processing. 877-460-4747. IndependentMerchantBrokers.com. Join Boson Hub Digital Development in supporting Kicking Cancer. Kicking Cancer provides support, education, and resources for cancer patients, survivors, and families. Kicking-cancer.org. More than just a home, the Arbor at Avamere Court in Kaiser. Arbor at AvamereCourt.com. Assisted living at Avamere at Albany. Avamere at Albany.com. Discover Oregon Real Estate. Tim Rist on the web at DORE.LLC. Find your people, find your home.
And now, your hosts for The Experience Local, Russ and Scott.
Ta-da! Here we are, Russ and Scott, ready for The Experience Local, and so excited for every Monday, no matter when you're watching this or listening to it. We broadcast live every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 a.m. Texas Standard Time. And
right.
So thankful for the ability to broadcast on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And then it also sits on those platforms as a video podcast, converts to an audio podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, whatever your favorite platform is. On top of that, it broadcasts on the Experience Radio Network.
That's right.
On Hope 107's AM station KWIL in Albany, Oregon, and KYKN in Salem, Oregon. We're so thankful for them. And Scott, always so thankful for you.
Hey, Russ, I'm very thankful for you as my friend, and that there was a big celebration for you and just this whole cancer awareness last Friday.
Well, I tell you that there is some huge blessings in my life. And one of those is because of IMB, Independent Merchant Brokers. Tyler is going to be on with us this morning, and his dad spearheaded helping Kicking Cancer and Baron Robinson in things that they're doing for me. And they're doing 2 Russ Rocks concert. And so one was last Friday. It was an amazing time. People just came and went and bought T-shirts and bought tickets for the one coming up on February 15th. And just were a blessing to me. And the music by Infamous Soul was amazing. The leader of that band, friends of ours, Corey and Kathy Nolan. Corey Nolan's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Corey. And just want to say hi to you. But yeah, what a blessing that was. Looking forward to the one on the 15th in Corvallis, Oregon, which will be 5 to 8 at the Courtyard by Marriott on the Willamette River. They've donated their facility, and what a blessing. Another band will be there, another Russ Rocks concert, food, fun, friends, and thank you all for being a blessing to me.
Yeah, community coming together. Well, I'll just go back to the whole reason why we do Believers in Business, the Experience Local. We want to celebrate those in the community who choose to live a life that makes a difference. And we're going to find that out today when we talk to Tyler and his business, which is one of those ones that's kind of behind the scenes. We use it all the time. We use it every day almost, but we really don't know about it until you need it. So we're gonna learn today, and we're gonna get some inspiration from someone who's also involved in the community, because IMB has been a big part of the Valley community.
They're phenomenal. And, you know, they not only have been helping put together, being a blessing for me and so many people. They have a heart for God, a heart for things. I'm not going to steal Tyler's thunder, but I am going to say that they even put together the giving link. So the giving links that you see online for me or for at the events, they run all that and they do that for me. So that is in my family. And I can tell you, we would not have made it without the love and support of people. And it's going to be a long road because Scott, my window is like our show this morning, and then I'm in bed. So,
well, let's bring Tyler in and let him shoulder some of that burden.
Yes, let's do that. Mr. Tyler Rice, come on in.
Hey, Russ, how's it going? Hey, Scott, good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you. And so I see you're in the mobile office today.
That's right. This is pretty much the
your
office,
business is all about being out and connecting with people.
That's right.
So
yeah.
Tell us about the business. Who are you and what's going on in the world?
Absolutely. So my dad, Sam, good friends of Russ, started this business about 13 years ago. We're independent merchant brokers. I'll kind of get into the name in just a little bit, but the short of it is we do payment processing solutions for businesses. So any business that takes cards, both card present transactions like your retail locations or restaurant locations, or businesses that are card not present. So this would be companies that are sending out invoices for payments via ACH or debit and credit. We cover all those payment solutions, and we're a local company that does it, which is in our industry kind of an anomaly. But there are a lot of benefits to having local representation in this space. And so we've been doing it for about 13 years. I've worked for my dad on and off. I started about 9 years ago with him. I was doing a lot of support stuff way back in the day, downloading programs into those little terminals that sat on people's counters. And so that's how I got my start in the business. And then I actually went and worked for Russ for a little while, and did some stuff with ServPro, went on from that to do worked for a company called All Natural Pest Elimination, doing home inspections, then went on to do some home refinancing options for VA and FHA loans. A lot of experience in those areas. Then I came back, started working for my dad about 3 years ago again, and the business has really taken off in the past 5 years, but in the past 2, we've seen some serious growth throughout the Willamette Valley. But we just some of our core values are just saving people money, because there's a lot of just nickel and diming in this industry when you're dealing with big corporations that don't know the merchant on a personal level. They don't really have any qualms about adding hidden fees or raising rates behind their backs. And then just the local support. So when you call, you get somebody on the phone who's able to help you. So we really focus on those two things, trying to be a resource in this space, because like you had alluded to, Scott, we all use it. Every business in some way or another is taking payments. But yeah, you're right. You just don't think about it until you've got to get somebody. And so it is a massive, massive industry that it's kind of hidden. People don't really understand that there are fees associated with taking cards and whatnot. But
well, that's why there's amazing people like you, Tyler, and your family. And so you are one of, is it 12, right?
12. That's 12.
One of 12. And so your parents have quite a quiver. And so what a blessing your family is, though, and your dad and all that's going on. So I'm so thankful for all that you do with my business. You do all my credit card, debit card processing for my business as well. And so thankful for that. But, really, you talked about your core values, and the reason for those core values are really your faith, right? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So like you alluded to, Russ, I did grow up in a family of 12. I'm the fourth, so I always say I back cleanup in our family. Yeah, grew up in a big family. My dad has been a pastor pretty much as long as I've known. We were sent out to start a church in Corvallis when I was 2. So for as long as I've known, we've been pastoring a church here. My dad's a pastor, so I grew up in the church that he was pastoring and around faith. It probably wasn't until about 17 or 18, somewhere around there, where I gave my life to Jesus. I surrendered to him. Growing up in church, you kind of think it's osmosis, where it's, I'm just around it, so I am it. But the reality was that wasn't true. And so I dedicated my life to Jesus Christ. My life was never the same after that. But everything that I do, in business is centered around bringing people the representing Jesus in a way that I know would touch people, help people. That is a massive thing. So, when you're dealing with businesses, just having honesty, integrity. When you say you'll be somewhere, you'll be there. When you say you'll support them, you'll support them. Showing somebody, what a Christ-like person does in this industry. The Bible says to do all things as unto Him. And so when we're out there supporting clients, or we're running statement analysis for potential businesses, we're not just doing that for the business, but we truly are trying to do it as unto Him. So being honest, having integrity, being people of our word, and then just helping our community. I mean, in this space, there is a lot of shadiness. I always say that on the list of most untrusted people, it's like Congress, car salesmen, cockroaches, and then way down the list is credit card processors. Like the industry does not have a good reputation. So I always tell people it's as easy as just picking up your phone. Getting good reviews or making good impressions is as easy as picking up your phone. But it's as hard as convincing people that you will pick up your phone, because there are just so many businesses out there that just, they operate in the space, but they don't operate with integrity. And so bringing that to our community, I mean, I can't tell you how awesome it is to walk into a business and they like to see you. They like to see their credit card processor because they operate honestly.
I was in college and was working for an accounting office, working with hundreds of small businesses, and then got into banking. And Russ, I got some sort of an echo thing. I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay.
But Tyler, if you can just talk about just some of those shady practices that businesses can get caught up in.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm very careful about how I talk about competition, stuff like that. I'm not afraid of competition. I'm a firm believer in a free market and lots of competition. It keeps prices down. Unfortunately, because most people, most consumers, not businesses, but most consumers don't realize that there are prices, fees involved in taking cards. I almost call it a hidden industry. People don't really know this. So, processing companies typically are large corporations that don't have a lot of connection to the community. And so you as a business are really just what's called a merchant ID number. It's a long number that pops up on the screen. You give it when you call in, and that's how they identify you. You're not, Joe's Auto Repair. You're not, whoever's restaurant. You're not somebody to somebody. These corporations don't really know you on that personal level. And so they really don't have any qualms about raising rates behind your back, putting you in long-term contracts, sticking you with a lease on equipment that shouldn't cost as much as it costs. There are just so many ways these corporations get into your pocket. My dad always says that as soon as they have their hand in one pocket, they want they want to get into the other one. So how we do it is, I had mentioned we're independent merchant brokers. So there's purpose and meaning to that name. It might not, like when you hear it, you might not think, oh, okay, they do credit debit card processing. But the reason why we named business merchant broker, because we are independent from the big corporations. We are independent. This allows us to structure ourselves as representing businesses to processors rather than processors to businesses. We don't work for processors, we work for businesses. And so we're able to vet the processors that we bring in, and we put them through a pretty severe vetting process. We don't work with just anybody. We work with people, with processors whose values align with ours and who allow us to do the job of an independent sales office. We're very serious about that. And then brokers, as I just mentioned, we broker out our services, so we have a wide range of products. We firmly believe that there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. to business. A restaurant is going to have different needs than a retail location, and so on. And so for a long time, we stayed out of the restaurant space, the restaurant point of sale space, until we could find a point of sale system that worked and made sense for restaurants. So we're very, very serious about who we bring on, who we partner with as far as processors go. We vet them on a multitude of different things to make sure that they align with what we do. But that really stands in stark contrast with most of the industry. Most of the industry is focused on just getting their equipment in, locking people into the contracts as long as possible, and then after they're in their contract, it is the Wild West of whatever they want to do, because they are counting on most people not reading the fine print or yeah.
Well, I want to comment on that because it is kind of wild and people don't understand it, and they just, you just have a certain amount of having to trust that the person that you're working with is not leading you totally astray, because there's so much fine print that any normal person doesn't have the ability to read through all that.
You would need a lawyer.
It's kind of like the bills they put through Congress. They can't even read all those. There's so many pages. So I think it just becomes the more important for people like you, Tyler, people that need to be there to help people and represent them and show them, and people got to trust that. So when it comes to employees and all that you have, you're never at a loss because of your 12 brothers and sisters. Talk a little bit about that dynamic in the family.
Right. Well, my dad has a firm belief that if you can't find good employees, just make them. So he's he has made himself a brood of employees. My younger brother Jonathan is kind of our sales manager, has done a phenomenal job in the sales. We call it solutions, but the sales space. Built a great book of business, and he kind of oversees our sales department that includes me and actually my brother-in-law Mateo, who's doing a great job, and then a few others. We are growing in that space as well. There's going to be some exciting news in regards to that. And then my younger brother Caleb heads up our support or merchant success department, and so he's the one that will answer calls, make sure that equipment is working and functioning. If there are outages, he gets a lot of calls. But he and then my other younger brother Noah both work in that space, and so they do a phenomenal job. It is, working with family. I love it. You all have a shared goal. No, you don't feel like anybody is in it for different reasons than you, and so it makes it it really streamlines your processes, your strategies, all that stuff. There's no feeling like, okay, well, his motivation's a little different. You're all on the same page and you're shooting for the same goal. So it makes it really awesome.
Let me just say today's guest, Tyler Rice from Independent Merchant Brokers. And Tyler, I met your father first through the Chamber of Commerce there in Corvallis.
Yeah.
And he and your company have been involved in the community for many years. Tell us a few of the things that you guys have been involved in recently.
Absolutely. So obviously the Russ Rocks campaign, and I'll just pause for a second. Russ, we're praying for you. We are firm believers in the healing power of Jesus. And so we are contending right now. You are in our prayers. So aside from prayers, though, we are pushing for with kicking cancer. We are pushing for cures, answers, help, resources for those going through that. And so that's one thing that we're involved with kicking cancer. We're doing this Russ Rocks. I know there was one on Friday. I'm really excited for the one on the 15th because I'll be able to be there. And so we're doing that, doing a concert over at the Marriott. You really ought to check it out, see if you can go. I don't know how tickets or whatever. My dad's all handling that, but if you can be there, you should be there. It's going to be
okay, Tyler. Let me just say, because people ask me that all the time, and thank you again. I'm humbled and honored and blessed because I can't even begin to tell you what it means. The prayer's number one, but the support of everybody. But the ticket information is actually in the comments. So if people are interested, they can go. There's a support link that they can go to. And if you Yeah, or if you want more information, go to Baron Robinson. His name will also appear in the comments. Baron Robinson is the person to reach out to about tickets as well. So those two things. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
He's been a phenomenal resource. He's the one that he started Kicking Cancer, I believe. So
Yeah.
he's awesome. So we've been involved in that. We're also very involved with the Corvallis Knights. We do all of their point of sale needs, and they are so huge in the Corvallis community. We love the Corvallis Knights. They are awesome. A wood bat baseball team. I don't know exactly what they call it, but I know it's a wood bat baseball league. And they operate in the summers. So we do all their point of sale stuff. We've given them free equipment so they can operate. And they're just a blast to work with. So that's a huge portion of the community that we're involved in. We are always looking for opportunities throughout the Willamette Valley, whether it's Corvallis or Salem, Lebanon, or Albany. We are always looking for ways to contribute. So if there are ways, please let me know on Facebook. You can always DM me.
Yeah, you guys are so amazing. Well, talk to me a little bit about your community involvement with chamber and different things. You guys really are connected to people, and I think that's so important. Not only to honor your faith, but to honor all that you do with your business by sharing with the community. And so, talk a little bit about that, and let us know why that is important to you and to independent merchant brokers.
Yeah, absolutely. From the moment that I got into the business about 9 years ago, my dad started taking me to Chamber of Commerce. They're called greeters, but morning meetings throughout the different communities. So we regularly attend those Chamber of Commerce meetings in Corvallis, Albany, Lebanon, and I go to Salem a lot. And we're looking to expand into more Chamber of Commerces as well. But we think that Chamber of Commerce is such an integral part of the community, especially the business community, in terms of just what they do to connect businesses together in a local community, and especially a smaller community that we have here in Corvallis and throughout the Willamette Valley. We are firm believers in word of mouth, and so Chamber of Commerce is like the hub for that. Being able to get your name out there, connect with other business owners, and so they can see how you walk the walk and talk the talk. And that it's a huge part of all that we do. So my dad is an ambassador in the Corvallis Chamber of Commerce. That helps facilitate meetings, introduce new guests, and so we're always. I mean, in the Salem Chamber of Commerce, I've been on what's called the greeters team before. There's just plenty of things that we do throughout our communities to connect through the Chamber of Commerce, and we really appreciate that resource. It's been a total blessing to our business, and we're able to shine the light of Christ and show people how we do that in our business through those. So we're very thankful for those communities.
And I just want to go back to the business side of this again, because when I grew up, very few people had credit cards. The debit cards didn't exist, right? And those credit cards, families kept them in a little family safe and used them occasionally.
Yeah.
Now nobody has cash, right? I mean, it's like, oh, I don't have any cash for a tip or to put into the kettle for Salvation Army. Everyone's using plastic, right? And it's very convenient. So it has become a much larger expense, especially for small businesses today. And so what I really want to get into is some of the success stories, some of those businesses that you guys have talked to and worked with that have saved, I know, thousands and probably even much more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So quickly to your point, Scott, I remember growing up, we would go to a restaurant or whatever, and there'd be a sign on the door, cash or check only. Now my wife and I will go to a sporting venue and it's a cashless venue. So like it is completely flip-flopped. And, it's created a market or an industry kind of out of thin air almost. And so, as we alluded to before, there are a lot of corporations who have taken advantage of that. And so we'll step into situations where somebody is paying through the nose on lease equipment that they don't know what they signed or why they signed it, but they've got the equipment and they don't realize they're paying $10,000 over the course of 5 years for a piece of equipment you could sell for 150. I mean, there are some crazy stories. One of the best stories I have right now is there's a tire shop up in McMinnville. I'm careful about using the names of the businesses just because I don't have permission, but there's a tire shop up in McMinnville. They are with a certain company. I actually don't have any problem with saying the name of the company. It's Riverside Payments. If you see Riverside Payments or they come into your location, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, show them the door. I don't say that about any other competition, but these guys have taken advantage. Just in the past 3 months, I've run across maybe 15 businesses who have been affected by this company. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can go on the Better Business Bureau and do some light nighttime reading before you go to bed on all the insanity that ensues there. But I walk into this business. It's probably at the time about the 7th business I'd run into. I see the Clover station on their counter. And in my head, I'm just because I had seen so much of it by that point, I just immediately think, okay, this is Riverside, guaranteed. I asked them about it. Sure enough. So they got locked into a lease. By the end of the lease, they would have paid $20,000 for this equipment. They had no idea. It's not cheap equipment. It'd probably be about $1,000 worth of equipment, but they're going to, over the course of, I think it was 3 years, they would have paid the equivalent of a car for this equipment. And so I walk in there and they, we're going through it, whatever. It turns out that it's an uncancelable, like it's written in the fine print. They wouldn't have seen it, but you cannot cancel. You can't get out of this lease. But what we were able to do is we were able to get them out of the processing, get them into brand new Clover equipment. We did that free of charge for them. And so I put the same equipment on their counter for free that this other company was charging $20,000 for.
Wow.
And yeah, we're saving them about $2,500 a month in their processing. So you equate that out to about $25,000 a year, give or take. Sometimes it's the price of an employee that these people are paying a year just to process cards, and people have no idea. So
well, and I think that's why people definitely need you and your dad and the amazing IMB team. And Tyler, we're going to wrap things up for today. We appreciate you being with us today. Give everybody a little information again on how they best can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So me personally, I would love for you to get in contact with me if you either have referrals or you are a business in need of help with processing. My phone number is 541-329-1755. You can call or text me there. My email is tyler@imb-llc.com. Very easy. You can also find me on Facebook, Tyler Rice. You can DM me there. But reach out. We have phenomenal referral bonuses. If you send a restaurant our way, we can get you hooked up with a cash bonus if they sign on. They can also qualify for a bonus. And then we're working on a program. I'm keeping the details a little under wraps, but we're working on a referral program whereby you, as a referral partner, can start earning a residual check every month just by sending business our way.
Amazing.
So love to help you out.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much. All that you do, I can't even thank you enough, and just appreciate you. We're going to send you to the green room and say goodbye, Tyler, but hang tight for just a second, and we'll be right with you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you both.
Oh, you're muted, Scott. So
there we go. All right. Tyler Rice, independentmerchantbrokers.com.
Yep. And there is his phone number, his email. Thank you, everybody, for reaching out to this amazing company. If you're in the area, no matter where you are, if you need a reputable company, a company that loves Jesus, they're the ones for you. And with that, I want to thank you all for being here today. We're here every Monday, live, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then it converts to audio podcast and broadcast on the Experience Radio Network. We just are so thankful for y'all being here. And Scott, until next week, have a good one. We'll talk to everybody and enjoy
the experience locally.
Point the right way. There you go. All right. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to fine podcasts. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next time on The Experience Local with Russ and Scott.